issued on the weekend for the late dictator. A survey by Statistics Canada has found nearly 1,000 members of the Canadian military reported being sexually assaulted in the past year, and has angered the Chief of Defence, Jonathan Vance. A man who spent more than 2 years in a BC church to avoid deportation on terrorism allegations wants to clear his name in federal court. Jose Ferreira will appear later this week. And authorities say a man who attacked people with a car and a knife at Ohio State University was a student. He was shot dead by police. From the Canadian Press, I'm Roger Ward.
Dawn, winter is right around the corner, and Ford has come up with some great offers to deal with it. For the first time, you can get a set of winter tires, rims, and sensors at no extra charge on most 2016 and 17 F-150s. Or you can choose to take $1,500 in Ford accessories. And to top it off, get 0% financing up to 84 months on most 16 F-150s as well. Wow, now if my Maple Leafs would go out and win the Cup, my life would be complete. Good luck with that.
The undisputed champion of trucks brings you undisputed value. Check special offers on the Ford F-Series lineup at Leslie Motors Ford.
The weather is a presentation of Grey Bruce Brick and Landscape Supply. Make Grey Bruce Brick your only choice for building stones such as Ayrescraft, Permacon, and Cultured Stone. Drop by their showroom at 525 First Street in Hanover and experience superior customer service.
For tonight, cloudy, rain beginning, wind from the south at 40 kilometers gusting to 70 and a low of 6 degrees. Tuesday calling for rain, ending in the morning, then mainly cloudy, high of 10. Cloudy periods overnight, a chance of showers and a low of 6 degrees. Midweek, Wednesday calling for cloud, a chance of showers and a high of 10 degrees. Cloud overnight, that chance of showers continues in a low of +5. Thursday, December the 1st, cloudy with a 40% chance of showers and a high of 6 degrees. Cloud overnight, chance of showers and a low of 3. And looking forward to Friday, cloudy, a 40% chance of showers and a high of +4 degrees.
Edgehill Country School presents the Christkindl Market. Usher in the season with the sights and sounds of a European Christmas. Enjoy traditional European food and baking, local artisans and vendors, plus sleigh rides, children's activities, a gingerbread real estate auction, and great entertainment. The Christkindl Market. Saturday, December 3rd, 4 to 9 p.m. at picturesque Glen Colton Farm in Durham. Adults $10, children free. Tickets available in advance or at the door. Visit edgehill-school.com for more information.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and not necessarily those of Blue Water Radio.
Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Washington. Check out the full list of classes at brucecountycombat.com. Welcome to Martial Arts World Radio. I'm your host, Joseph Clark. Over the next hour, we have 3 guests, which include UFC fighter and star of The Ultimate Fighter and American Top Team, Sabah Homasi. We also have martial arts champion and trainer to the American Gladiators, David Crepes, and female kickboxing sensation, boxing world champion, and cinema stunt performer and actor, Bridget Baby Doll Riley. I have a book to bring to your attention. Check out 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts at Amazon. Also, if you're interested in UFC and Everlast apparel, video games, and training equipment, check out our show website at www.mawradio.com. This week's inspirational quote is from the great Anderson Silva and goes as follows. I'm not the best. I just believe that I can do things that people think are impossible. The great Anderson the Spider Silva.
Hi, I'm Bob Wall, a World Full Contact Karate Champion, and I'm the co-star of Into the Dragon. You're listening to Martial Arts World Radio with Joseph Clark.
Sabah Homasi is a welterweight fighter who has fought in several professional fight promotion companies, including Bellator and now the UFC. He was a member of American Top Team for the Ultimate Fighter television series season entitled America Top Team versus Blackzilians. Sabah, welcome to Martial Arts World Radio.
Thanks for asking.
Sabah, tell us how you chose the nickname The Problem.
Two of my buddies that I lived with gave me the nickname The Problem. They're like, man, you're just a problem in every way you look at it. So kind of like
And so now you're presenting a problem to your opponents.
Yes, sir.
You have fought in both the UFC and Bellator. How did the two fight promotion companies compare from a fighter experience?
It was both great experiences. Bellator is a great organization, so is the UFC. But of course, now Bellator is run differently than when I was with them. So it's kind of like the Strikeforce, like pretty much Strikeforce all over again. It's all the same guys that run it. But other than that, I have nothing bad to say about either or. Both great companies.
You participated on The Ultimate Fighter during a season that will probably go down in history, a very notable season. You were representing America Top Team. Tell us about that experience.
It was great, man. It was definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and of course, I had to jump on board. And, you're locked in the house for 6 weeks. You're disconnected from the world. No cell phone. You don't see your friends and family. Only benefit was that since it was a team versus team, you were with your coaches and teammates, and you wouldn't have to fight each other. It was based off a point system. So, and no one got eliminated. So it was completely different than a regular season, which was pretty neat. I don't think they'll ever do it again, but the whole experience is great, anything you wrote down on a piece of paper appeared the next day. Groceries or anything you needed, just write it down and it's there. And it was just, honestly, another day. It wasn't that bad. I'm sure the other guys that've been on other seasons will say their season was tougher because it probably was. I'm training at my gym with my coaches and my teammates. Can't ask for anything better than that,
Saba, how long have you trained with American Top Team?
I've been with American Top Team since 2008.
It was very apparent when watching the television show that there was a brotherhood and a real sense of loyalty within the team.
Absolutely. It's great. Like you said, it's a brotherhood. We're smart when we train, and we put in work. It's just another day in the gym. So go in there, we train together, and all the day take care of each other at the same time.
And what does your training regimen look like presently?
Presently, I'm training, 2, 3, 4 times a day. So I'm just constantly in the gym, preparing for the next fight. My coaches, I have great people on board with me, so they know when I need a break. If I need a break, so they'll cut a session if I need to. Depends on how my body feels. Recovery is very important. So I'm on top of my ice bath, and training, and my diet. So everything's on point and running smoothly.
Are you able to balance relationships and a social life while training to be a world champion?
Absolutely. Doing it right now.
Saba, would you elaborate on this point a little bit? Because we do a lot of interviews with both UFC fighters and former world champions from kickboxing and full contact karate. And a very common answer that we get is that they had to learn how to balance their relationships, or relationships suffered in the pursuit of becoming a champion. So I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on that.
Well, it kind of comes down to your partner as well. So my girlfriend is, she's very supportive of what I do. So she understands, and she actually comes with me to some training sessions, works out with me sometimes. So the main thing is you got to find someone who supports you and, will do anything for you. And I have that. So she understands, she sees what I go through day in and day out. And she's just very supportive of that. So, I come home and, she'll cook my food up or whatever the case might be and just relax mainly. She knows I need my rest. So, of course, on the weekend, we'll, go to dinner, go to movies, we'll hang out with friends. You still need you got to unplug from time to time, and sure. On Saturdays, that's my day to wind down and disconnect from, the whole MMA team, just disconnect my brain from thinking about fighting, and spend time with my girlfriend.
Saba, it sounds like you have a good partnership there, and she's giving you a lot of great support.
Yeah, definitely.
With all of the fight promotion companies that exist now, and with all of the many fighters in the UFC, is it becoming increasingly more difficult to stand out and be noticed as a fighter?
I think it all depends on your fighting style. If you're an exciting fighter, I don't think it's going to be that hard to be, I don't think it's going to be hard for you to stand out. You build a big fan base that loves your fighting style, and once you have enough attention on you, you will be recognized. But it is very hard. It's easier said than done. But, you just gotta go with it, stick with it, fight hard, and leave it out there every time you step into the octagon.
Do you have hobbies that you participate in when you're not training MMA?
Yeah, I love playing sports, man, but the only time I get to play sports is when I don't have a fight coming up. I don't want to do something stupid and get injured playing basketball or football or tennis or whatever it is, and then I'm out of a fight. So that's kind of the hardest part, but it's not like I have time to do that anyways, But yeah, I love playing sports.
And growing up, who were some of the influences in your life?
I would have to say my older brother. Everything he did, I did. So he has a huge impact on my life. So,
Saba, who is your favorite martial artist?
I have to go with Bruce Lee, man.
And that is definitely the most common answer I hear.
You can't go wrong with that. It's like Bruce Lee's the man.
No, you definitely can't go wrong with that. You definitely can't. Do you consider yourself a martial artist first or a pro athlete first?
Yeah, I'm a pro athlete. I compete at the highest level, and it's not easy to get here. And once you do get here, it's, the hard work just keeps coming because you got to bust your ass to stay here.
And Saba, presently, who would be the most important or influential relationships in your life?
My coaches, I guess, good relationship with your coaches. If you don't have a good relationship with your coaches, you're not gonna grow as a fighter. If your coaches don't like you, if you don't have a good relationship with them, they're not gonna put the time into you.
And do you have a philosophy that you can share with our listeners on overcoming defeat and learning from losses so that you actually come out of them stronger?
Absolutely. If you keep thinking about a loss, you'll never grow. You'll never move on. You gotta learn how to put that behind you, learn from it, and make sure you don't make those mistakes or whatever the case might be. Make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Saba, what goals have you set for yourself for the near future?
I'm aiming to be one of the best mixed martial artists out there. So I'm learning every day. I'm getting better every day. I don't limit myself. So I'm looking to become a world champion one day, and it will happen in my near future because I'm putting in the work. I'm putting in the time. I'm busting my ass on a daily basis. My hard work is definitely going to pay off.
Saba, this is our wrap-up question, and I thank you very much for your time this evening and for your candor. As a fighter who is fighting at the highest level and who has accomplished so much already, do you have advice for our young listeners or our martial artists that are listening tonight who have their sights set on becoming champions and fighting in the UFC?
Absolutely. Sacrifice a bunch, and it'll all pay off. Make all these sacrifices now, you put your hard work in, and it'll all pay out in the end. That's a promise. Stay away from anything that's a distraction, and just surround yourself with positive people, good people, and you'll be going down the right path.
Saba, that sounds like great advice, not just for martial arts, but for any worthwhile pursuit. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your time tonight. We wish you all the very best.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
This has been an interview with UFC fighter Saba Hamasi on Martial Arts World Radio.
Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton offers recreational and competitive kickboxing and boxing classes for children and adults, as well as yoga classes. Your first class is always free to try. Bruce County Combat and Fitness offers single monthly memberships for as low as $45 and $67 for a family. Their drop-in fees are only $7 for most classes and just $5 for yoga and Little Warriors. Check out their full schedule at brucecountycombat.com. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They also sell a full range of fight gear and apparel.
Tired of hard water wreaking havoc around your home? Dry skin and lifeless hair? Dull and dingy laundry? Soap scum and spotted glasses too?
Hey, Culligan man! A Culligan water softener turns hard water soft every time. Soft water is the answer. Not cleaning products or detergents. Culligan saves you up to 50% on soaps and detergents while turning your laundry, bathroom, and kitchen brilliant, like me.
Getting a lot of tones, ringtones, with background static.
Starlight, star bright, first star.
6 months ago,
Andy said he's got to change that sound part, and then it's going to be all
today,
gone.
it affects every aspect of her life. Hours of
I'm trying
dialysis
to
don't
tweak
leave
it out.
much time for bedtime stories. She misses weekend camping trips and family pizza night.
I wish I might have the wish I
No
wish
problem.
tonight.
And her daughter misses them too.
I wish Mommy would get better.
Through research and patient services, the Kidney Foundation is creating a better life for patients and their families. Please give generously.
Blue Water Radio.
Today's best music.
You only have to turn us on once. We'll turn you on for the rest of the day. 91.3 FM.
Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton. Check out the full list of classes at brucecountycombat.com.
The most music, 91.3.
Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton offers recreational and competitive kickboxing and boxing classes for children and adults, as well as yoga classes. Your first class is always free to try. Bruce County Combat and Fitness offers single monthly memberships for as low as $45 and $67 for a family. Their drop-in fees are only $7 for most classes and just $5 for yoga and Little Warriors. Check out their full schedule at brucecountycombat.com. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They also sell a full range of fight gear and apparel.
This is Olivier Gruner. You are listening to Martial Arts World Radio with Joseph Clark.
For those of you listening to Martial Arts World Radio while on your phones, tablets, or laptops, be sure to check out www.bobwallworldblackbelt.com. That's bobwallworldblackbelt.com, the world's foremost martial arts online community. Also, check out our show website for the advertisement for London Sports. London Sports is a provider of quality sports apparel and equipment at factory prices, which you can brand with your own organization's distinctive logo to resell to your members and customers. Just visit www.mawradio.com and click on the London Sports logo to send your inquiry. David Crapes is an accomplished martial artist with a lifelong legacy of overcoming adversity. He is a coach and trainer of champion fighters and has also trained some of the contestants and cast of the American Gladiators television show. I had the pleasure of interviewing David recently as we enjoyed a coffee together at the home of martial arts legend Bob Wall. The coffee was great, the interview even better. Here is that interview.
David, thanks very much for speaking with us today. So tell us about your training with some of the contestants of American Gladiators.
I was fortunate enough to have met Johnny Ferraro, who was the producer and creator of American Gladiators, and he introduced me to his partner, which is Dan Carr, and they asked me to come out to Orlando, Florida, and participate as a, as you could say, kind of security / bodyguard / referee. And I ended up getting to meet all the gladiators for the first time. What a great career I've had because of that. And it was enjoyable. It was the best 2 years of my life.
Very good, but as I understand it, they came to you voluntarily to train with you. It wasn't as though the show had hired you for that specific purpose.
No, they didn't really hire me for that specific reason. The reason why they hired me is because of my background as a martial artist. And,
Hello there, it's
they
Joseph Clark. How are you
wanted me
today?
to handle all the security for them. And So I said, yeah, why not? What
I'm
a great
well. So
opportunity.
I'm doing really well.
So
We have,
when
they
I
have just front
showed
loaded me
up
with
there,
a
the
lot of
gladiators heard that I was a martial artist, so a lot of them jumped
So
at
it's
the
gonna be like
opportunity and
closer
said,
to
hey, can you train?
7:35,
I said, sure,
7:40 when I
why not?
connect with you.
This will be interesting.
However,
I love athletes, first of
Yeah,
all. I
so
think you
the
guys
thing
are all
is,
from
I
different
had
walks of
tons
life.
questions. So yeah,
You know, they're football, ex-football players, baseball players,
but
you
what
know,
we will
track
do
and field
is I
stars.
wanted to give you at
It
least
was
45
amazing to
minutes,
me
and it looks like it's gonna
the
be
type
more
of
than 1 year.
level
So
of these
you gotta make-
athletes that I was working with, and they picked up so quick. It was something that I just
Well, we
enjoyed
are,
doing.
I'll tell you what we'll
So
do,
we ended
though,
up on American
is,
Gladiators
and I've done
Arena
this,
on
I'm
the
gonna do this
middle of the floor. It'll be, you know, the contestants and the gladiators are all out there with me, and we just kind of started learning Muay Thai, and I love teaching it, so it was fun. Just an experience I'll never forget.
How many of the gladiators trained with you?
Oh, there was probably, I would say, half of them.
Did any of the gladiators have formal martial art training in their background before this?
You know, I think Dallas was about the only one that really had kind of background in martial arts. She loved to fight. You know, we trained pretty hard, her and I. We used to pretty much, you know, we'd go to her place and we'd end up in her garage. She set it up like a gym.
As will you, and I
work out
well,
a
I
few
really
hours at a
appreciate
time.
your understanding.
But she ended up taking that to the toughest woman in the world contest,
Okay.
and she won it twice.
Do any of the American gladiators still train with you today?
About the only one that really does train with me is that comes around once in a while is Dallas.
Right.
Because we stay really close. In fact, she's in Florida right now. She's coming out this way. She got sponsors going to be going to Hawaii for a big fight show. She's got a couple of her fighters that she's training now, and she took it to a different level. She just fell in love with it. So now she teaches boxing, Muay Thai, and MMA. And she's got her own gym, and she's doing the same thing. And it's great because it's great to see people that you care about and that you've worked with in the past turn this into something that's a lifestyle. And what they do with it is they help others, and that's what we're supposed to do anyway. You know, as a pioneer, I think I'm a pioneer because of all the years I've been doing this. That I have a lot of students that are out there, and they're training people today, and I watch their students that come by, they bring them in and say, what do you think, coach? And I go, I'm amazed. You know, it blows me away how well they've taught them and how much knowledge they've learned from teaching. Because that's when you really learn, is when you're teaching somebody. You got to start analyzing what you have, what was given to you from your mentors. And I have two great mentors in my life. And I was very fortunate to have trained with Saxon Janjira, who is the legendary Thai fighter that came from Thailand back. And then you can look him up on the internet. He's got all kinds of accolades. I mean, I don't even want to go there. Sometimes some of the things are funny. But you'll see on the internet, he's quite an amazing character. And you'll see me in his corner in a lot of his fights. And then my Hawaiian teacher, Kolomono Kaivalu. And I was been with him ever since I was a young boy. So it's just an amazing life that I've had, and I just can't even explain the career that it's helped me walk through, and the paths I've taken, and the people I've met. It's just one step to another path, and it just opens so many doors. And I'm just kind of feel this has been a blessing.
You said a moment ago that you learn the more you teach. Would you say that somebody who is a teacher has an advantage over somebody who's never been an instructor in terms of progressing their skills even further?
Well, there's two ways of looking at that. You know, sometimes I was very fortunate in my life. I crossed paths with Ruben Nikitas back in the day, Benny the Jet's brother, and him and I worked together for a period of years in promoting fight shows and opening up gyms. One of the things I remember him saying to me is when we're teaching fighters, he was saying, you know, Dave, and one of the questions that came up was a discussion we had, and he said that the best fighters that I've ever had were students who had a martial arts background. And the reason why is because they had a discipline already. It was easy for them to make a transition into kickboxing, and that's what they were teaching back then. So knowing that, it has really, really, really helped with people today that are teaching. So I think someone who's had a martial arts background, who's had a history of understanding their body and then taking that to the next level and teaching is a better qualified instructor than someone who didn't analyze what they were learning. And you know, it's like, you know, we used to laugh about it. Taekwondo, take your dough, Taekwondo. And then you get a guy that learns for 2 years, gets his black belt, and go open up a dojo. And to me, that's wrong, you know, because he really doesn't understand the foundations or the martial art, the whole spectrum of the martial art, because you really have to understand what you're putting somebody through. And you could take somebody and teach them wrong, and then they get into a situation and they get hurt. Giving a black belt to somebody that isn't qualified to have a black belt. Why would somebody get a black belt if they really don't know how to protect themselves? And putting a black belt on a kid, I mean, to me, that was wrong, because if you have a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old black belt, maybe to another kid he's going to be bad, but to an adult, you know, what's he doing with it? You know, it kind of puts him in a situation, and then it puts him in a situation in school where if someone knew they had a black belt, now you've got people ready to, let's find out if he really is a black belt. And I can see people picking on it. I've seen that a lot. So I've learned throughout the years to be, I'm pretty judgmental, I would say, on certain instructions in people, because I see it even in our business today in the Muay Thai world. I see fighters out there today, or teachers today, opening up gyms, taking on students and teaching them, and I don't see the knowledge. And there is a thing about knowledge, and it really is important that what you teach somebody, especially if you're teaching them how to protect themselves, you should have a background. If you don't have a background and you've been in the business for a year or two and you go open up a gym, oh, this is easy because I can make money at it. To me, it's like having a McDonald's on every corner, and that's kind of a shame in my business when they start doing that. I see that a lot now.
Does a child have the life lessons and the character lessons to be a black belt?
I think a child, when you get a child in your gym or in your school or your halal or your dojo, it's like getting a piece of clay, and you take that piece of clay and you put it in front of you and you start to mold them, and you give them the things that you'd want, you know, the right attitude, the right. If somebody walks in, even today, my kids, they walk in, even though they're learning Muay Thai or they're learning kickboxing or boxing or jiu-jitsu, whatever our programs are in the school, the kids walk in. The first thing I say to them, I said, when you walk in the gym, the first thing is you bow. It all starts there. And they ask me, well, why? Just bow. And you have to trust me on this one here. And the kids look at me, okay, sir. So they bow. And says, my name is either Coach or Crew David or Sensei or whatever you feel. So you give me a title and you call me Coach, it's okay. But the most important is you never call me by my first name in front of people. I said, so I want that as a life lesson from the beginning. And all the kids, they walk in and they, hello, sir, and they salute. And they walk in and they show some respect. And when they walk on the floor, they bow again, and they walk on the floor, then they start to train. And before they even start sparring or something, they always bow first. And it's just tradition, and maybe it's old school or whatever you want to call it, but it starts there. And then once you groom them as they go, what you get back from them is much more than just fighting, and much more than just, I'm going to teach you how to fight with weapons, or I'm going to teach you how to beat somebody up, or how to protect it. It's what they get out of it to teach their children. Because what I see today, in our world today, and what I'm watching because of the internet, and all the stuff that's happening, it is really hard to engage into the politics of today. But it's better to engage from a different corner, from a different place. I have a small little place, so I engage my world with those kids, and I start there and say, that's what I give back. That's all you ever can do. And hopefully those kids will turn out the way you want them to turn out, and they'll be better people in the future. Because you know what? There's this generation today, I call the mad generation. There's a lot of mad kids out there, and they walk into my school, and I have to almost close my eyes and say, okay, I got to think about this. How am I going to approach this kid to make him change? Because they come in with attitudes and very young, So that's where I'm at today as far as teaching goes.
Sounds like you take teaching on as a responsibility.
It is a responsibility. You don't want to have somebody learn something and go out and misuse it on somebody. That's not what we're given these tools for. I don't look at that. I mean, I remember, the only reason why I ever learned was because I was picked on so much in school, and I ended up, all the way from junior high school all the way to I graduated. It was like a war. I didn't even, wasn't a week or a time in my life that I don't recall having to step into the field or into a room somewhere or in someone's backyard, having to defend myself and fight 1, 2, sometimes 6 people. And I didn't like it, but I did it. And I ended up having to do that because I had to survive. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to find it. And then somebody one day, when I was back in those days, we had, in the 60s, we had the Lovins and, Hare Krishna and, peace and all that. And the war was going on. But I remember as a 15-year-old, I was sitting there in some field and some guy walked by me and the place was packed with people, big, music going on everywhere. And this guy walked by us and said, hey, you want to see me beat those 2 guys up over there that are picking on people? And I said, he says, why? Why? He goes, I just want to show you guys something. He was recruiting. I didn't even know he was recruiting. So I said, sure, why not? And so he says, he walks and taps on these 2 guys' shoulders, and they're big guys. He says, hey, you guys looking for someone to fight, right? And he said, yeah. I said, well, fight me. I'm smaller than you, but I'll fight both of you.
I'm going to connect with you now, and I'm going to actually keep you on the line.
Next thing you know, we're behind the barn.
We have a couple more minutes of this interview that's recorded.
And I said, I'm in. So I joined martial arts at that point. I've been at it ever since.
David, do you teach multiple styles?
Yeah. So I teach my Polynesian art. I'll always teach that to my students, just the concepts. I teach boxing because I boxed. I teach kickboxing because I kickboxed as a young guy. And then I teach Muay Thai, is what I train. And I learned from my mentor, Saxon. So those are the styles I teach. And I have a you go to the ground, but not like the jiu-jitsu guys. I don't believe I need to go to the ground. If I get a chance.
Prevalent foundation.
Not really. It's just whatever I'm standing in.
Don't worry.
It's me reading that person. I'm going to know what their body language is.
I'm going to give you the live now.
Basically, when they throw from that stance, or I read the way the body muscles tense up or something like that, and I know what to expect before it happens. So I'm ready. I'm always that way, even at this age.
And tell us about your Polynesian style.
We call the Hawaiians call it lomi lomi. The old school called it lomi lomi. The hands of massage. They learn massage, and from learning massage, they learn the muscles in the body. They learn the nerves in the body. They know how to manipulate someone's body. But everything is basically, if you look at the foundation of all martial arts, it's basically all the same, but it's how you apply it. And the principles of being able to hit somebody or strike somebody back, because you have to be almost a defensive with an offensive move. And basically that's the Hawaiian style. And you want to take them, sweep them down, put them in a lock before they ever hit the floor. As they're moving down, you want to have them in a lock. So they don't know how to land, but yeah, it works. I hate to say it, but yeah, it works.
A lot of students today consider it a privilege to train under an accomplished master, but conversely, is it a privilege to teach?
Being able to teach somebody and getting results as a teacher, I think is probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
David, are there martial artists who you admire?
I respect martial artists who have character. I love the characters of the martial. I love who they are. If they're the right kind of aura, if you want to call it that. But you'll see them. Just so many. And when you meet them, you know, as a teacher, you know, as one of the people who've been teaching for I've been doing this for 48 years now, a lot of years. So I see it a lot, and in all aspects. There's the boxing people. I have my friends like Carlos Palomino. I just love to death, you know, and what a great inspiration he is to the world of boxing. And people like my teacher, Kolomono Kaivalu, he's the same way. I mean, I have the people that I respect, you know, they never stop. And they're in their 80s, and they're still going. They're still trying to teach. Saxon Janjira, I have to go back to him from the beginning. The first time I ever met Saxon, I just couldn't believe the character he was and how much he loved his students. He loves teaching. He loves to share his knowledge. And it's all about community. In this business, you have to have community. And without community, you can never, ever, how can you share without it? You know, and you have to share your beliefs. And people stick around because of that. So I can say, you know, Benny the Jet, I can go on and on and on. And, you know, it's never ending. And Gene LaBelle, I mean, I love Gene. He's funny as hell. I think I gotta get back his video. I still haven't.
You've been listening to my interview with Master David Crepes on Martial Arts World Radio.
Dawn, winter is right around the corner, and Ford has come up with some great offers to deal with it. For the first time, you can get a set of winter tires, rims, and sensors at no extra charge on most 2016 and 17 F-150s. Or you can choose to take $1,500 for Ford accessories. And to top it off, get 0% financing up to 84 months on most 16 F-150s as well. Wow, now if my Maple Leafs would go out and win the Cup, my life would be complete. Good luck with that.
The undisputed champion of trucks brings you undisputed value. Check special offers on the Ford F-Series lineup at Leslie Motors Ford.
You want to start your own business, but how? And what's the first step? Saugeen Economic Development Corporation understands small businesses and the local marketplace. SEDC provides training and business counseling to businesses, entrepreneurs, and social enterprises, information on relevant government programs, and the tools to assist you with the development of a business plan. Go to the website sbdc.ca and click on training for this month's in-house workshop schedule, or send your questions to info@sbdc.ca. SEDC, working in partnership for the community's future for over 25 years.
This is Norma Graham from the Hanover Public Library. Join me every Monday just after the 1 o'clock news for the Radio Book Club. From suspense thrillers to mysteries to romance and historical fiction and true stories, each week I'll be telling you about some great books you can enjoy reading that are available from your local library. The Radio Book Club is presented by Millennia Books. Your local independent bookstore has been located in the heart of downtown Hanover for over 15 years. Check out their great selection of new book releases, quality used books, jigsaw puzzles, healing crystals, and so much more. That's the Radio Book Club with me, Norma Graham, Monday just after 1 p.m., right here on 91.3 FM Blue Water Radio.
Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton. Check out the full list of classes at brucecountycombat.com. Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton. Check out the full list of classes at brucecountycombat.com.
This is UFC fighter Jason Sago. You are now listening to Martial Arts World Radio with Joseph Clark.
Our next guest is a 5-time world kickboxing champion and world boxing champion. She was inducted into the Black Belt Magazine's Black Belt Hall of Fame. She is a prolific stunt woman and actor. She has played herself in HBO's boxing video game. She's been a stunt double in movies such as Watchmen, Transformers, Iron Man 2, $1 Million Baby, The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn 1 and 2. The list of incredible films and TV productions on her resume is just simply massive. And she was a performer in the Power Rangers television show. Ladies and gentlemen, there is only one Bridget Baby Doll Riley. Bridget, welcome to Martial Arts World Radio.
Hi. Oh my God, that introduction. I'm like humbled.
Well,
thank you so much for having me, Joseph. What a pleasure.
And you are most welcome, and you've earned it. Bridget, what was your most memorable title fight? Was it kickboxing or boxing?
Well, that's a really good question. Because, you know, my heart, my first love was completely karate, the martial arts, karate tournaments, kickboxing, and then boxing, of course. But I have to say it is my very first world title defense in boxing. I was defending my bantamweight IFBA championship. And it was live on ESPN2, and everybody was watching, my entire family, and it was my very first defense. I'm like, really? It couldn't be like my 10th. This had to happen on my first. I got dropped, dropped the first round. And Richard Steele, who, you know, people in boxing know, he was a bit controversial, and he was the referee. So he easily could have stopped it, and I don't even know what happened. Honestly, when you enter that realm as a fighter in the ring, it's weird. It's a weird thing. You know, they'll make you or break you. And somehow I got back up. I barely made the count of 8. I don't remember getting up. I believe it was the hand of God. And Richard Steele looked at me dead in the eyes, and he said, "Are you okay to continue?" And I was like, "Yeah." Well, I don't remember that. I have no recollection of that. I barely survived that round. And I, by the grace of God, came back and I knocked her out cold in the 9th. And it was one of those crazy fights.
And at what age did you begin training in martial arts?
Oh, good God, age. It was a long time ago. I was a gymnast when I was little, and my brother was in karate, Patrick Riley, who was like my hero. And I was a teenager. It was a difficult decision to choose to leave gymnastics because my parents invested. We didn't have a lot of money. We were very, we struggled, and everybody sacrificed in my family for my gymnastics. So, and I was going 7 days a week. By the time I stopped gymnastics, it was a full-time job. I mean, it was 5.5 hours every day. I had no life, and I loved it. I was the first in the gym and the last to leave every time. But I would go to my brother's karate tournaments, and it was so cool. And, you know, I just saw the camaraderie at these tournaments and the point fighting and the kata and the weapons. And I was like, Mom, and you know, we would sit down as a family at the table and have these family discussions. And I said, you know, Mom, and I was really scared and nervous. And, you know, my mom was so awesome. She said, honey, if you're really done, let's be done with it. You know, we're not going to push you. And I go, yeah, but you put so much money into it. And she goes, what do you want to do? And I go, I want to do karate. I want to go to karate. And I was terrified. I went 4 weeks watching class, watching my brother at the dojo. And they kept saying, jump in, you know, come on, jump in. I was really afraid. I'm not too proud to admit that. And finally I just did it, and I was home. I mean, it was just like, wow. So I was a teenager, and that's when I got I started as a white belt and worked my way up from there.
So tell us about getting the call from Black Belt Magazine that they were going to induct you in the Hall of Fame. What was that like?
Oh my gosh. I was like, seriously? Me? There's so many better people. It was amazing because I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, And before I moved to California to train at the world famous Jet Center, my brother and my dad would always shove these magazines, like Black Belt Magazine, all the karate magazines, in front of my face. And they're like, look at this cover. And I saw Kathy Long, on the cover. And they're like, that, you need to go there. You need to go to California. And so it was always my dream to go to California and to train with the best. And then to be on a cover, which eventually happened. It took a while. But then, just as a complete bonus, they inducted me and put me in. It was extremely humbling, and I was so thankful. And I'm still really, just me. I don't know. I don't even know if I deserve it, but it was really cool.
So Bridget,
my dad passed away, so he didn't get to see it, but I know he's in heaven, and I really feel him. I feel him. I know he's seeing it all, But it's a bummer, because God, he was like my number one fan, my biggest support, and he loved the entertainment industry, which I got into that just as a fluke and by total accident. And he would have loved that, though. We would play Trivia Pursuit as a family, and I probably couldn't even get first grade level questions. And my dad was on the main one, and he could get every single entertainment trivia question, period. And I just, there's a part of me that I really wish he was here to see it all.
Bridget, why did you become a professional fighter?
How could I not? How could I not? It really is that thing. I don't know what that is. I honestly have tried to figure that one out. But when I would be in karate tournaments, and karate, yes, it is a game of tag, but it would get rough. I mean, it would get really rough. And yeah, you hit, you got to be fast, you got to be first, and then you break, and they call for a point. But I loved it. I loved the camaraderie. I loved my brother and all his friends and the team and just everybody in these karate tournaments. And that's how I got hooked. And I was just done. And I liked it. And I was good at it. And I liked being good at it because I wasn't very, I was kind of a dork and a tomboy, and I had my big Coke bottle glasses when I was little. And, girls made fun of me, and girls were really mean. And they were really mean to me. And I found something that I could do, and I could feel good about myself, and I learned confidence in the martial arts, and I learned dignity, and I learned respect and self-respect. I learned all these things, and alongside with my family, and one thing led to the next. I segued from karate into I was getting disqualified. I like to bang, man. I like to hit. I didn't like to stop. Let's keep going. What's the problem here? So that's when they said, maybe you should think about, continuous fighting. And Mr. Jim Boucher was my first kickboxing trainer back in St. Louis. We fought in Belleville, and he goes, hey, Baby Doll. He's the one that named me Baby Doll. He goes, you look like a little baby doll. He goes, and it just stuck with me. And he goes, you want to try kickboxing? I said, yes. My boyfriend was doing it. My brother was doing it. All the guys in the gym were doing it. Heck yeah, let's do this. So that is when I was like, yes. And there wasn't amateur back then, and it was a while ago. And if I wanted to fight, they were like, well, hey, guess what? You got to go pro. First fight, hey, no problem. And P.S., you're going to fight the U.S. champion. Awesome. I was like, let's go.
No pressure.
No pressure. But it was so, it's funny because, I see as the sport has progressed and, through the years, I would see girls and I'm not going to mention any names, but I would hear people, because I'm in LA. I moved to LA, and you hear all these stories, and you hear these people like they want to pick their fights, or they want girls that I don't know, they dig them out of the ground. Like I fought everybody at first. I mean, and not every fight was a war. Most of them were, and at first they definitely were. I was way in over my head a lot of the times. I think that builds character. I think you find out real quick, you either have it or you don't. And you have the heart, you can't be taught that. You have it or you don't.
Who was your toughest competitor, Bridget?
There's been quite a few of them. let's see, Bonnie Canino, absolutely in kickboxing. I remember watching her fight Kathy Long, going the distance, and she looked really scary and very scary. And I was like, whoa. And I fought her the first time, and she beat me in my hometown. Heartbreaking. That builds character, though. I think some of my losses, my biggest losses, were the best learning experiences in my life. Had I not gotten my butt kicked to me. So Bonnie Canino, definitely. I rematched her and got taken out of that ring in a stretcher on the rematch, but I won 2 world titles that night, and it was 12 rounds, and it was amazing. She was tough. She was really, really tough. In boxing, Yvonne Trevino, she was the champion. I took the title from her. You have to really be the champion to take their title away. She was tough. Brenda Burnside, when I fought at Madison Square Garden on Evander Holyfield Lewis 1. That was amazing. She was really strong. And you know what? You better have a good corner, because sometimes when we're out there, I like to bang. If you put me in a phone booth, let's do this. I like inside fighting. I don't like to move around a whole lot. Even though I have that in my back pocket from karate. But sometimes you really got to listen to your corner, and that's hard to do sometimes when you're in the ring, because it's such tunnel vision, and you're so in this thing, and when you start getting thumped, and when you start cracking on a girl that you're used to, well, in other fights, this punch dropped her, or this punch really hurt her, and it's not even making a dent. That takes you to another place as a fighter in that ring, and you can't panic. All these fighters that say, oh, I'm never nervous, baloney. Every time I've gotten in that ring, I'm nervous. I'm afraid of looking bad. I'm not afraid of getting hurt. That doesn't scare me. I'm afraid of looking bad. I'm afraid of losing, and that motivates me.
Bridget, on this show, we have interviewed Lindsay Garbat, another world champion who transitioned from boxing to MMA. We've also interviewed your friend, Fredia Gibbs, who transitioned from kickboxing to boxing. What compelled you to transition from kickboxing to boxing?
First, I want to say I love Fredia. We go way back together, and she is the reason I have this connection with you, Joseph, and I'm so grateful to her, and I'm so proud of her.
As am I.
She has her own radio show and her own book, and I'm absolutely inspired. And yeah, she's a good girl, man, and an incredible athlete. So I just want to give a shout out to her. But wow, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Why did you transition from kickboxing to boxing?
Oh, well, I was in a heavily boxing team, my camp. I moved to St. Louis with $100 in my pocket, drove out from St. Louis, landed at the Jet Center, the original Jet Center, the world famous Jet Center, on fire in Van Nuys, California. And I showed up, didn't know anything. All I knew is my brother said, this is where you have to go if you really want to do this. And I'm like, hey, yeah. I show up, there's a sign that says, train for the day for $15. I happened to get to see Sensei Benny the Jet Yakitas there. And I have my $15, I had it out so fast. You know, I was like, here, sir. And he goes, put your money away, keep your money. And he goes, well, what are you doing here? And I go, well, I'm here to become the world champion. And that's who I trained with. And his sister, Lily, my mentor, my everything, and her husband, Blinky Rodriguez, they took me over. They watched me spar, and they took me over. And that was, for me, like winning the lottery. That was it. They said, if you're serious, we're going to do this. We're going to manage you. They were heavily into boxing. They had a really strong, they were around boxers. They were Hector Lopez. They were around constant boxing. They had so my kickboxing training through them was a lot of boxing. So I think I had an advantage in my kickboxing fights because I had good hands, I had fast hands, I had really good combinations, punches and bunches. And I started seeing Christy Martin, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need that. I need to be there. And I was hard, like he even said, God, I got to micromanage you. Like I was, we're fighters. There's a certain sense of ego in that. You want to have that humility, but you're still, at the end of the day, you're a freaking fighter. And I'm like, I want that. put me in there, man. How do we make this happen? So they're like, let's start putting you in boxing. And a lot of fights in kickboxing were falling out, and people didn't want to fight me. The more and more I grew. And so we're like, hey, if this is an avenue to get more fights, well, let's do this.
Now, Bridget, we're coming up to the top of the hour, therefore we have to close off the show. There's never enough time. We're just scratching the surface here. However, last question or two, where does your strength come from?
Where does my what come from?
Your strength.
My strength comes from the Lord Jesus Christ, 1,000%. And and I'm a very hard worker. I have a very hard work ethic, and for some reason I've been with amazing people, wonderful, wonderful people who have mentored me and taught me and trained me and schooled me and taught, and I am 1,000% grateful for all of that. And I have my dad passed away, but I have an amazing stepdad and my mom. My family's tight and they're solid. I have a very small circle. I'm a loner, but it's really, really awesome.
Bridget, thank you so much for being here. We look forward to having you back real soon. Congratulations on your legacy and best of luck on your further adventures. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. God bless, Joseph. I really appreciate it. And everybody listening, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
And God bless you as well. This has been an interview with world champion kickboxer, world champion boxer, world champion stuntwoman, just a world champion human being, Bridget Baby Doll Riley. Be sure to check us out at www.mawradio.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube by following Martial Arts World Radio. I'm Joseph Clark, wishing you safe travels. Thank you for listening.
Okay, goodbye, Facebook and Twitter followers. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Blue Water Radio News is brought to you by your
Bye,
Hanover
YouTube.
New Orleans Pizza.